Hey, what is up mga bis? So example number 6 na po tayo sa pag-solve ng deflection in beams using the double integration method. Let's go! Alright, and so ito yung beam natin mga bis, no? So like our previous example number 5, cantilevered pa rin siya. Pero kung makikita nyo, iba na yung orientation nyo, nasa left side yung ating, ano tawag dito? Yung ating fixed support. So, para ma-solve to, let's see the problem muna. Sabi dito, let us determine the slope and deflection at A. Dito pa rin sa free end and given yung ating E tsaka yung I. So, di ba guys, sa ating previous example, kung napansin nyo, di ba? Yung fixed end kasi natin is nasa right side. And di ba dito natin kasi pinuputol. So, since dito natin yan pinuputol, hindi na natin kinailangang isolve yung fixed, yung reactions dito sa fixed end. In this case, no, mga bis, pwede rin natin gawin yon. Pero kailangan lang nating i-flip yung ating beam. So, parang magiging, wait, hala, anong nangyari doon? Parang, hindi ba siya pwedeng i-flip? Wait, teka lang. Ito guys, parang i-flip. Flip. Teka lang guys, Yun. Flip. Ayan. Yun. Parang magiging ganun na lang siya guys. Okay? So, parang finlip lang natin siya para hindi na natin kailangang isolve yung mga moments dito. Kasi diba parang dito ipuputol yan. Pero if you want naman, pwede rin yun namang gawin yung dati. Diba? Isolve muna yung mga reactions dito sa B. And parehas rin lang naman. So, bet ko lang ng medyo shortcut saglit. Ayan. It will still give us the same answer. Okay, so nasan ulit yung pag-flip ko nun? Flip. Ayan. So, since na-flip na natin yan, let's do na our cut section dito. Parang puputulin natin yan. And let's draw the free body diagram. Ayun. So, ito yung A natin. Ito yung B. Joke, hindi pala NB. Ito, sulat na natin yung mga loads dito. Dito, meron tayong 3 keep na load. Dito, meron tayong distributed load mula dito, punta sa dito. Ayan. So, ang UDL natin has a magnitude of 2 keep per foot. Okay? And then, itong length na to, this is 3. And yung buong length na to, like what we always do in our previous examples, let's name that as the length x. Okay, so now we will write our m, or the moment equation, kasi if you remember, our formula is y double prime m over ei. M stands for the moment, this moment equation. Ei, given yan, the modulus of elasticity and moment of inertia. So going back to the problem, clockwise moments positive, counterclockwise negative. Remember, kung saan natin pinutol, yun yung magiging pivot point. Parang doon yung doon siya iikot. Okay? So, simulan natin dito sa 3 keep point load. So, this 3 keep or 3 kilopounds will create a counterclockwise moment. Ibig sabihin, that would be a negative moment. Okay? So, negative 3. And then, let us multiply the moment arm. The moment arm is x. Okay, next, punta na tayo dito. Meron tayo ditong UDL. To solve this, we need first to convert this to its point load. Okay, so yung point load yan would be located at the center of this UDL. So, alam natin yung magnitude niya, which is 2 keep per foot. Pero hindi natin alam kung ano yung length ng beam kung saan siya nag-act. So, we should express it in terms of x. Now, we know that this length is 3 and this length is x. So, we could say that this remaining length is x minus 3, di ba? So, yung converted point load nito would be equal to 2, which is the magnitude, times the length wherein it is acting. That is x minus 3. 2x minus 3. So, that point load will create similar dito, counterclockwise moment then, kaya negative 2x minus 3. Tapos, aside from that, we need to multiply the perpendicular distance or the moment arm of this converted point load, and that would be the half of this x minus 3, yung kalahati nito, di ba? So, di ba kasi rectangle yan? So, ang location ng point load, converted point load sa UDL would be exactly at sa center ng UDL na to. So, that is x minus 3 over 2, kalahati nito, di ba? Itong length na to. So, that would be x minus 3 over 2. So, basically, nilagay na natin lahat ng mga loadings dito. And therefore, we can say that this is now our final moment equation. So, simplify na lang natin yan. Cancel yung 2, cancel yung 2. Yung mga to, pwede natin simplify. Negative 3x minus, ito mga bis, this is x minus 3 squared, di ba? Ayan. So, plug in na natin to sa ating formula and let us do the integration process or integration proper, kumbaga, di ba? So, ei y double prime is equal to m. What is that m? That is negative 3x minus x minus 3 squared, sorry. Okay, ngayon, integrate na natin. No? Integrate natin yan. So, for the first integration, we will have ei y prime is equal to ito, negative 3x squared over 2 minus plus 1 sa exponent, kaya magiging cube yun. And don't forget, ilagay sa baba. Tapos, meron tayong arbitrary constant, C1. Okay, so integrate for the second time kasi nga, double integration, di ba? So, integrating kita second time, itong y prime or the slope will be converted now to y or the deflection. Ito, negative 3x, 2 plus 1 is 3 over 3 times 2. Okay? Minus x minus 3 plus 1 times exponent, magiging 4. And 3 times 4 plus yung C1 magiging C1x plus C2. Okay, so cancel natin yung 3, pwede yan. Tapos, ayan, yun lang yung pwedeng makancel. So, eiy is equal to x cube over 2 minus x minus 3 to the 4th power over 3 times 4 is 12 plus C1x plus C2. Ayan. So, before we can proceed to solve the slope and deflection, no, we need first to determine our arbitrary constant. Ano yung value ng C1 and C2, di ba? And how are we going to do that? Previously, again, katulad na mga ginawa natin sa ating previous videos, we use boundary conditions. Like, ano na yung alam na natin in this certain beam without doing any calculations. Ano na yung mga initial conditions na nandito. First, we know that at fixed support, F, at fixed support, no, the deflection and the slope is 0. So, dito, pwede nating masabi na at x is equal to, ano ba to? 6, di ba? Kasi nabaliktad yung orientation natin. At x is equal to 6, we know that y prime or say slope is equal to 0 and also deflection is equal to 0. So, ito, pwede natin itong magamit para mas solve yung C1 and C2. Start natin dito. Gamitin natin itong deflection equation para mas madaling substitution na lang. So, say at x is equal to 6, we know that our y prime or the slope is equal to 0. So, plug in natin dito. Solve natin yung C1, di ba? So, ito, ei times y prime is equal to 0. So, 0 times ei, 0 din lang, is equal to, yung x natin is 6. So, negative 3, 6 squared over 2 minus 6, ipalit natin doon, 6 minus 3 cube over 3 plus C1. Okay, so since C1 na lang yung natira, pwede natin itong simplify. C1 would be equal to, this would be 36 divided by 2 is 18. 18 times 3 would be equal to 48. Tama ba? Char. Calculator ko. 6 squared times 3 divided by 2. 54. Charing lang. Sorry na po. 54 pala. Pinasitive ko na kasi nilipat natin sa kabilang side. Then ito, 6 minus 3 is 3. 3 cube is 327. So, 3 cube, so magiging 3 square na lang kasi cancel to. So, 9 na lang. Diba? Tama ba? 3 square, 3 times 3, 9. Tama. So, plus pa rin to kasi parang binaliktad lang natin. Okay? Nilipat natin sa kabilang side plus 9. Therefore, C1 is equal to 54 plus 9. That would be equal to 63. Okay. Now, after knowing C1, we can now solve for C2. Again, using this condition. So, in our deflection equation, we use that. At x is equal to 6. Same pa rin kapag sa fixed support, y or the deflection is 0. So, plug in natin dito yung mga nakuha nating values and makuha natin yung C2. So, we have here E1 times Y. That would be simply 0 is equal to x is 6. So, 6 cube over 2 minus 6 minus 3 to the 4th power over 12 plus ano yung C1 natin mga Bs? That's 63. 63 times x, which is 6 plus C2. Ayan. So, we can solve for C2. Calculator ko na kasi give up na si kuyang brain cells. Negative 479.25. Okay, so knowing the values of our C1 and C2, pwede nating masolve tong mga pinapahanap niya. Sabi dito, ano yung slope and deflection at A? So let's start at the slope. So it means if we are tasked to determine the slope at A, we set our x as 0, di ba? Because dito yung point A, di ba? Dito yung point A. So our x at point A is 0. So let's see kung ano yung magiging deflection natin dyan. So at x, gamit tayo ng blue. At x is equal to 0, what is the slope or y prime, di ba? Kasi similar naman yung dalawang yan. So, copyhin ko lang tong slope equation. Ayan. Okay, so solve natin yung y prime or the slope. Plug in lang natin yung x is equal to 0. So, ito, EI, y prime is equal to, ang x is 0. So, ito, 0 squared is 0 times 3 is 0. So, 0 yung buong term na to. Similar dito, 0 minus 3 is negative 3. However, we are following the rule of Macaulay's principle at which kapag x minus a is lesser than 0 or is negative, then we cancel that term. Okay? Bakit? Kasi, ayun nga, sinusundan natin yung Macaulay's principle, di ba? When the term or when the result inside this parenthesis will yield to a negative number, then cancel that out. Since 0 minus 3 is negative 3, we remove it. Okay? So, this is equal to C1. Ano yung C1 natin? That's positive 63. Okay? So, tuloy natin. Now, meron tayong value ng EI. So, lipat ko na lang sa denominator ng kabilang equation. So, ano yung value ng ating EI? That is 29 times 29,000 KSI. 29,000 KSI. Tapos yung I natin is 24.5 inches to the 4th power. 24.5 inches to the 4th power. Now, before we can proceed to evaluate this, kailangan nating i-check na pare-parehas yung mga units natin. Dapat yung mga units natin sa numerator should be equal sa denominator. For example, kung yung unit of length natin dito is kilonewton, dapat sa baba, kilonewton rin. Kapag meter. So, sa numerator, itong 63, nanggaling yan sa ating moment equation. Diba? And sa ating moment equation, yung ginamit natin na units is in term of keeps and foot. Okay? So, this is in keeps and foot. So, parehas din dapat sa denominator. Yung mga units natin in terms of force is dapat naka-keeps or kilopounds, and yung distances is in terms of foot. So, unahin natin tong KSI. Ang KSI is kilopounds per square inch. So, teka lang. Yan. Convert natin yan. So, we know that 1 kip is equal yan mga bisa. 1 KSI is equal to 1 kip per square inch. Okay? So, this is 1 KSI. Ang 1 KSI mga bis, kasi K is kilopounds, is 1 kip over square inch SI. So, cancel yung KSI and KSI. Next, itong inches to the 4th power and inches squared, magka-cancel yan. Ibig sabihin yung 4th power magiging squared na lang yan. So, itong inches squared, we need to convert that into foot. Bakit? Para magkaparehas nga, di ba? Yung numerator tsaka denominator. So, ito, ilan ba yan? 20, ilan yung 1 foot? Isa inch. 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. Tama ba? Yeah, I think so. So, i-square natin yan. Therefore, makukuha natin yung sagot natin. Okay, so, simplifying that further, tanggalin ko na yung mga units. 63 is equal to 29,000, no? 29,000 times, ilan to? 24.5 times ito, 1 over 12. Pero naka-square siya, so 144. 1 over 144. Okay, so bali dito mga bis, no? This would be our working sa calculator. Ito na yung ipa-plug in natin. Okay, so grab nyo na lang yung calculator nyo. Our answer would be equal to 0.01278 and so on and so forth. And yung unit natin dito would be equal to rods. Okay? So, in radians siya, mga bis. Default yun na sagot kapag we are solving for the slope. Okay? Now, let us check our answer. So, our answer here is 0.0012 rods. Parang nasobrahan ng isang zero to. Okay, tama. Okay, mga bis. So, if you check, nag-try ako dito ng deflection calculator sa internet, na online free app to check my answer. And yeah, it gives that it is 12.8 times 10 raised to negative 3, at which, mag-move ng 3 decimal places, 1, 2, 3. Ibig sabihin, 0.012, which is tama dito, di ba? 0.012. Mali tong answer na to. I'm not sure. I think tama naman yung, tama naman yung, ang tawag dito, tama naman yung conversions ko. Kindly comment down below. Okay, so the slope at point A is 0.012 rods, so radians, or if you would like to convert it in degrees, depende sa hinahanap ng problem, you can do it. Okay, so let us move on sa ating next na unknown. Okay, so let us now move on sa next na required, which is the deflection at A. So, deflection at A, let us use the deflection equation, di ba? Copy ko lang to. Control C. Same pa rin yung natin, mga bis, no? Same pa rin yung conditions natin. At A, X is there 0. We need to find for Y. Ito, or the deflection. So, ayan. Substitute lang tayo, mga bis. Ito, Y is equal to ito mga bis, no? It will just be equal to 0. 0 cube is 0. Ito, 0 minus 3, same. Magiging negative to. So, according to Macaulay's principle, i-cancel out natin yan. So, diyan kailangan. Itong mga bis, C1X. Ano yung C1 natin? Regardless of the value of C1, which is 63, 63 times X, which is 0, is 0. So, magiging 0 lang. No need to include. And then, we have here C2, which is negative 479.25. Negative 479.25. Okay, so, i-divide natin to by EI. And diba, yung conversion natin same rin. Yung nasa taas is keep input. So, same din yung conversion natin. So, kopyahin lang natin to. Okay? Parehas din lang. 10,000 times 24.5 divided by 144. So, calculate natin yan, mga bis. Using our calculator, our answer here, negative 479.25 would be equal to negative 0.09713, and so on and so forth. So, ang unit natin dito, mga bis, would be equal to feet. Bakit? Kasi feet yung ginamit natin dito sa ating equation. Yun yung units natin. Okay, so this must be in feet. Ayan. So, ito, mga bis, would be our deflection at A. Dito sa A na to. And the deflection at A would also be the maximum deflection since naka-cantilevered beam siya. So, if you would check again our answer, ay bali na naman. Ay naka-inches siya. So, converting this into inches, times 12 lang yan, no? Times 12. Para maging inches times 12, we have, joke lang, divided by 12. So, ito kasi is in feet, diba? So, kapag i-convert natin ito sa inches, 12 inches is 1 feet, right? So, cancel feet, then dapat it will give us the answer is in inches. So, times 12, negative 1.16. Which is magkaiba na naman. Ayun. Hi guys. Pagkatapos ng ilang oras na paghahanap ng aking pagkakamali. No? Kasi yung sagot ko dito is nasa nasa yan? Yung sagot ko dito? 0.09. Tapos convert ko sa inches. Mali pa rin. Ang layo dito. So, hinanap ko, mga bis. Hinanap ko yung mali ko. after siguro mga 40 minutes. Palagi inulit ko para maraming beses inulit ko. My God, ba't di lumalabas yung sagot ko? No? Ba't di lumalabas yung sagot na to? Until I realize, no? Tulungan niyo kong hanapin yung salarin. Tananan. Ito guys, dito ako nagkamali. Nakalimutan kong kopyahin yung negative sign. My God. Diba? So, tingnan niyo kung gaano ka-importante yun. Ito mga bis, no? Ayan. Nang sinimplify ko, nawala ko yung negative sign sa baba. So, nung sinolve ko yung C2 dito, nawala na rin yung negative. So, tingnan niyo kung gaano. Hay! Nakakainis. Ayun. So, ayun. Nag-negative pala yun mga bis. Okay, so sorry for that. So, kapag isosolve natin yan, ayan, nasa na yung calculator ko. Luckily, no, hindi na-affect nito yung, hindi na-affect ng C2 yung ito natin, yung sa slope natin. Tama yan, hindi siya na-affect. So, ito lang yung problema natin, yung value ng C2. Nang sinolve ko yan, mga bis, no, ang value ng C2 natin is negative, C2 should be negative 263.25. Ayun pala, okay? So, ayan, yun lang ipapalit natin dito. Ay, ganyan talaga. Maraming mga bagay ang bigla-bigla na lang mawawala sa buhay mo nang hindi nagpapaalam. Diba? Yung kahapon, andyan lang. Tapos, nabigla ka na lang. Wala na pala. Char. Ay, negative 263.25. Ayun. So, kapag ika-calculator natin yan, no, mga bis, negative 263.25, 29,000 times 24.5 divided by 144. Tantananan. Ang sagot natin in terms of feet muna would be equal to negative 0.05335. So, let's stop there. So, kapag i-convert natin to into, this is in feet, right? Kasi naka-feet yung units natin dito. Pag i-convert natin yan to inches, times 12 lang yan, that would be equal to negative 0.64024. Ayan, and so on and so forth. So, this is in inches. Okay, so if you would try to look at our answer, ayan, hindi ulit tugma, diba? Kasi 0.06. Feeling ko dito, nagsobra sila ng isang 0 kasi kinopya ko lang to sa reference ko eh. Feeling ko lang mali eh. Pero malay nyo, mali rin pala ako, diba? Pero ayan, at least nagtutugma. Yung nagkaiba lang sa 0. Pero feeling ko namali lang sila sa 0 dito. Kasi sinek ko naman sa isang deflection calculator eh, tugma dito. So ayun mga bis, I hope nakatulong itong video sa inyo. And if you have questions or clarifications, comment down below. Sabi nga ng generic huwag mahihiyang magtanong. So that's it mga bis. Please like, share, and subscribe. Muli ako yung bubuyog na nagpapalala sa inyong maglakbay, mag-enjoy, maglaro na liksik, maging matinik. Job yan.